Welcome, everyone, to Virtue's brand of wrestling, and we are here post Superstar Shakeup. I am being joined by Rob once again. What's up, man?
Man, I'm doing great. I am all shook up, and I promise that's the last lame dad joke I have. No, it was a interesting SmackDown Live with some people moving, and I'm sure we're going to jump into that. So why don't we get started? What's our first topic, sir?
All right, let's start with Raw first. Miz came back over. It seems like anytime there's a superstar shakeup, the Miz bounces brands. Is that me, or is that like what's happened the last couple of years?
Yeah, it kind of seems like he has moved back and forth the past few shakeups or drafts.
Now, with this thing with Shane, obviously Shane's kind of always been tied to SmackDown Live for a while. Do you think to finish this thing off with the Miz, Shane, because he's a McMahon, what do you think Shane's going to do? Are they going to have him on Raw now?
Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah, maybe him and Stephanie will kind of swap spots. I guess that could be interesting. I mean, as much as I don't want to see a McMahon on TV and everyday television, at least it would be different shows and it would be different interactions-ish.
Dude, why has Vince been showing up on SmackDown and not Raw recently?
Because Fox gave him $1 billion.
Yeah, so I'm saying, you think that they're positioning that for Fox? Obviously, we'll talk about Roman Reigns, and I have a lot to say about that. I actually was on the fence if they were going to pull the trigger with that or not. But, I mean, let's face it, SmackDown Live is going to Fox, and they're starting to put the chess pieces in play. Now, going back to Raw, it's confusing because we saw Lars Sullivan on Raw, but he ends up on the SmackDown roster. We saw Lacey Evans bouncing back and forth for a while. Now it looks like she's going to be on the Raw roster. What intrigues you for the Raw additions? I don't know. I mean, Andrade? Like, what am I missing? What AJ was the big –
yeah.
And I called that on the No DQ review. And it seems like when I said that, the whole panel was like scoffing at me, like, no way, because SmackDown is the house that AJ Styles built. And he's on Raw now. So I don't know, man. Raw feels like a B show. And what do you think, man?
Raw, apparently USA didn't give Vince McMahon $1 billion. Yeah, I'm sure Fox had some demands on what they wanted. It does kind of feel that Raw is the B show. We'll see, though. You know, every time that I have thought a show was going to be lackluster, that always seems to be the one that gets better because I think it's less micromanaged. So I think wherever you see Roman, wherever you see the biggest stars, you see Vince's hand meddle the most. And the other show, you know, Paul Heyman got away with it running SmackDown for a couple of years when SmackDown was actually really, really good because no one really paid attention to it. So maybe Raw will get better. Maybe we'll have 3 hours of more enjoyable content.
Dude, I couldn't even tell you who is on the Raw roster that's new. Can you name me some names? Like, I don't know if it's because I just watched SmackDown Live or if it was besides AJ Styles, Lacey Evans.
How can you forget about EC3 and his memorable time on the main roster? What did he do to anybody? Did they really sign him?
Here's my philosophy.
To AEW?
I think that Vince McMahon really thinks he's Dixie Carter's nephew. I mean, I tweeted that, and it has to be the case because I mean, right. He looks the part. I from what I saw in TNA of him, he's not bad. I mean, look what Roman does. Roman's booked as a strong guy. You don't have to be like the best technical wrestler in the world. He looks the part. I know he can talk pretty good on the mic, so I just don't know what EC3 did to piss anyone off. But more importantly than that, here we go. Luke Harper asked for his release.
Yeah.
One of the who's the one guy? I just was it Killian Dane or Wolf? Was it
the guy from Sanity?
Yeah. I mean, what is the deal with asking for releases now? Can't you just can't they do that privately? What is this whole public thing now? I'm just like, it's so irritating because the fans will latch onto it. AEW, AEW, AEW.
Yeah, we've already seen, again, my least favorite GIF on the internet is that stupid Cody GIF. And every time that any wrestler is angry or disgruntled or is moving on, that is shared more than anything else in the world, and I find it's so annoying. Yeah, maybe he's going to go work at the T-shirt factory. I have no idea if that's in his plans, but we'll see.
Well, it's funny because there's this indie worker from where Luke Harper did. He was Brody Lee up here in the Cleveland area. That was his indie name around these parts. And he worked in a team with this guy, Marion Fontaine, who's a really skinny dude. And I saw Marion Fontaine put a tweet out saying, if you just tack on $40 to the price of the big rig and you can get this duo. And it showed him and Harper. So that's just funny. I popped for that. And I actually replied to Marion Fontaine and said, dude, you're worth at least 50. You know what I mean? That's funny. But I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I mean, Raw's always been Vince's show. And I just wonder how far into this Fox deal is Vince going to make SmackDown seem like it's the most important show? Do you think he'll have an even balance to it? He always seems like if SmackDown looks too hot, it always seems like he pulls back from it, and Raw, the talent goes back to Raw at some point.
Yeah, but no one's giving him $1 billion.
But that's $1 billion over so many years, though. Like it's not like it's.
But don't you think that in his mind he is using SmackDown to show people how lucrative he can make something? So when Raw comes up in the next 4 or 5 years, he can then maybe shop that around, and they could use the Fox results as, hey, this is what we did. This is the ratings we got him. This is the money we want. And Vince is probably thinking 10 steps ahead to make another $2 billion for the next.
Well, didn't Raw recently come up and get renewed by USA? Why isn't Raw going to Fox?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it's befuddling. But maybe people see more money in the SmackDown brand because it's more of a wrestling show than a sports entertainment show.
Do you think because the name SmackDown was derived from The Rock? And I'm just saying, when they do that initial show, do you think he's going to get The Rock on that initial show? Because remember, The Rock coined the phrase SmackDown.
That is true. I just want the fist. I just want the big fist to be up there.
It'll probably be like a big dog now. I mean, dude, let's just all right, Raw. Anything else happened on Raw with the shakeup, or anything in general that intrigued you that you want to talk about before we move on to?
Yeah, real quick. The
SmackDown.
Most important news I've ever heard. Now, I know I was at Fastlane and I thought I saw it there, but this Sunday they're apparently streaming the final match of the Shield, the real last time.
From a house show? I mean, I was at Raw last Monday, and afterwards they all did the thing after the show.
Ambrose came out after the lights went off on this show as well.
It's like, I don't care. They're milking it, and that must be Ambrose's official last day, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
What would you have done if Ambrose came out tonight on SmackDown?
I was half expecting it. I don't know. It would have been good. I wish we would have had more surprises and more shocks. I kind of wish we had the debut. You're right. Bringing some of these people out yesterday from NXT. Is Lars really officially on SmackDown? Is that like an official thing now?
They showed a thing. I believe they showed a graphic, and it showed him as being one of the SmackDown guys, just like it showed Lacey Evans as being on Raw. So I'm going to take that for what it's worth, but I believe so. Oh, I got blurry.
You did. That was terrifying. Yeah, Lars Sullivan too. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think he's going to be around for super long time.
Dude, Lars Sullivan. It's like if you took Gene Snitsky and Psycho Sid and you mutated them together, you would have Lars Sullivan.
And it's not his fault.
And I wonder if he has half the brain.
That's right.
Well, all right, let's go to SmackDown. All right, so Finn Balor comes over via Superstar Shakeup, and he's the Intercontinental Champion. Well, guess who's the United States Champion? And as far as I know, Samoa Joe right now is still on SmackDown. Now, I don't know if he's hurt or sick. There's so many injuries after WrestleMania, or people out for this and that. I don't know what's going on. What do you think is going to happen there, considering both of those mid-card titles are now on SmackDown?
I mean, the USA title is going to stay on the USA Network. That's what I thought would happen from the get-go. I read some of the dirt sheets that said Samoa Joe was hurt. He had plans to be on Raw. He got scrapped. But It would be my understanding that Fox would not want the USA title when it could just be on the USA Network. I think it was probably something, again, another move influenced by Fox and their $1 billion.
So you think Joe's going to end up being on Raw? And
yes.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And of course, Braun Strowman is over there, and I have they probably have some unfinished business to do. Women wise, so Paige came out, and I know a lot of people were thinking Kairi Sane and Shirai. I think that's her name.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it was getting to the point of Kairi Sane getting ready to come up. I mean, let's face it, Rob. WrestleMania 36 is going to be in Tampa Bay, and they already have the pirate ship theme. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Kairi Sane's gimmick. She's going to end at worst be in a tag team title match. I mean, she's going to be part of that show. Yeah. So they bring her up now. There's a whole year to get people used to her. And on top of that, guess what? Asuka, Kairi Sane, two Japanese people that can't speak English well, that usually that hurts their push in the eyes of Vince McMahon, are paired with Paige. What's your thoughts on that and the fact that it's Asuka in this duo?
Yeah, good for Asuka. It gives her something to do. She's probably going to be a women's tag team champion in the next few months, I would say. I think it's okay. They have a manager. Something I wish they would do more in WWE. I think a lot of these people who can't deliver the English promos very well, I think they would benefit more if they cut the promo in their own language and just had their representatives kind of summarize it or, whatever. But we could actually see their real emotion, their range as a performer if they spoke their own language and just, like I said, have someone just interpret a little bit of it or give their analysis of it. But Asuka did that a few times in NXT, and I thought those were some of her better programs, and I bought into it because I don't need to understand the words if someone's telling me a story through their body language and the way they speak. So, but yeah, I guess, good for it. Gives Paige something to do. It gives Asuka something to do, and it gives credibility to a newcomer. So I think this is a win for everybody.
I think it's best for Paige because after she kind of got removed from the general manager of SmackDown, now it gives her something to do, like you said, which is needed because of the Japanese girls. Now, speaking of language barrier and Bayley promos, which are god-awful, Bayley is on SmackDown. Sasha Banks is nowhere to be seen. What is your take on all of this drama? Like, I was talking with Vito, and wrestling is about doing what you're supposed to, not crying about what you want to do. You know what I mean? And it's not like these girls aren't making money. I can't believe that, they had to put over the Iconics of WrestleMania, and Sasha Banks is pulling all of this. I mean, for what we know right now, it's a shoot. This is real. She's not happy. And I think it's a lot because she looks at herself like, I'm a main eventer. And I think, Sasha, you would be a main eventer if you could cut a promo. That's just my opinion. It's not always about wrestling work. At the NXT level, when she was having those matches with Bayley, neither one of them could cut promos, but that product was about in-ring action, about those 30-minute Iron Man matches and stuff like that. On the main product, it's different. It always has been and always will be. So what's your take on Bayley to SmackDown and the whole Sasha drama?
The Sasha Banks drama, see ya. You're not happy. I mean, bye.
AEW.
Oh my God. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I think she has a lot to offer, but if she doesn't really want it, there's 10,000 people in line who do. And if you want to do something and find something somewhere else, by all means, do it. It gets old when the same few people are rumored to be crying after every single decision that goes against them. As for Bayley just should not speak anymore. We always make the joke that someone sounded like a 2K wrestling thing, and she sounds like someone came in on no sleep and just started hitting responses in 2K. I left all of my hugs on Raw. It's like, oh my God, don't talk. I mean, whatever. I really don't care about either of them at this point. I don't really care about Naomi, Natalya.
Hey, Big Vito is doing a run-in on Virtue's brand of wrestling. I'm here with Rob. What's up, Vito?
Rob who?
My co-host, Rob, on the BigVitoBrand.com, Virtue's brand of wrestling.
Oh, Virtue, I know. The guy Rob, he must be a newcomer.
Oh yeah, must be a newcomer. No respect.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. We're just talking about the final superstar shakeup. Roman Reigns is now on SmackDown Live. Vito, do you think that's because they're going to Fox?
I think because Roman Reigns got nothing else to do on Raw, and he needs to change the scenery, and that's probably the only place where he could be champ and be believable.
Well, we were just getting ready to talk about that because I have not been a fan of Kofi Kingston's main event push. Nothing against him as a performer and an individual, but as a main eventer, I just cringed. And so Rob and I were getting ready to talk about that. But I just wanted to Noel said you were going to do a run-in, and here you are.
Well, I got to tell you guys, so far they haven't given Kofi Kingston not one singles run or not one singles match as champion. They've been putting him in the six-man tag. Kevin Owens. Now, what was the deal with Kevin Owens joining New Day? Did Big E get traded?
Big E's hurt. I guess he's having a knee scope, so they're looking at like a 4 to 6 week timetable. So they're just this whole Kevin Owens thing tonight was just to fill the time. I thought he was going to actually turn heel or something good was going to happen out of it, but nope. But again, Kofi is I saw that WWE title belt just being goofed around and gimmick tonight. I mean, that Kofi is such a transitional champion. It's crazy.
Well, I believe you're right. And when you talk about them not having nothing for you, sticking Kevin Owens with the New Day is really not having nothing for you.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact they're not featuring Kofi as an individual competitor with his own entrance music, that Vince Russo said tonight, Kofi's nothing if he doesn't have his own entrance music.
No, if you're the champion, you're supposed to be the face that runs the place.
Yep. And AJ's over on Raw now, so he's going to have to come up with a new saying, or he'll just repeat that one over there.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. He looked like the biggest mark in the building last night.
Who, AJ?
Yeah.
Please elaborate, like from your point of view.
Bro, he's standing there at the end of the show, right? And he just had the match. He got the pin. And he's freaking going, yeah, and trying to, psych himself up. And then you got Roman Reigns, and you got Seth Rollins being cool as ice, right?
Yep.
And it looked like he did not belong with the big boys on Raw. He looked like a newcomer. It looked like he just got there. He didn't look like a seasoned veteran. Didn't look like a previous champion. He looked like a mark.
And meanwhile, tonight, what do they do with Roman? Well, they do the whole troll thing with Elias. Vince McMahon made it look like Elias was the big acquisition. Then Roman comes out and punches Vince McMahon. I mean, that's main event level star. I didn't see AJ Styles doing anything to Triple H or Shane McMahon or anything like that.
Because AJ Styles doesn't have that kind of star power. That's why he's not the champion of Raw. And if you think he's going to be heavyweight champion of Raw, you got another thing coming. At best, he'll be Intercontinental champion, U.S. champion. He will never be the heavyweight champion of Raw. No way in hell.
Well,
and the fact, the way he acted last night, guys, if you go back and watch the end of that match, the way he was acting, he was happy to be there. He was so happy to be standing next to Roman Reigns and Rollins like he was part of the Shield. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm standing next to the Shield. It just made me sick.
I got to go back. To be honest with you, when he came out, I was probably playing on my phone or on the computer. I'm going to go back and check that out because I believe you. I'm going to take your word. I'm not going to just take your word for it. I'm going to go watch it. Star presence, man.
And, tonight they introduced Osaka, Asuka, and that other girl is
that would be a good name for them, Osaka, because Osaka, Japan. Asuka and Kairi Sane, yeah. Rob and I were just talking about that.
Yeah, now I think it's good they put them together because both of them can't speak. So they put Paige with them so they have a spokesperson. I think that'll be a good little tag team. I think the Iconics are a couple of goofs. I think they're transitional. I don't think they're anything potent.
Most annoying voices in the world, man. Just like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber.
And Bailey looks as miserable as pie.
Yep.
Just being there.
Again, Vito, star presence, star power. I mean, you look at how stars come through. You come in on the phone and completely take over Virtue's brand of wrestling, because that's what stars do. Take over.
That's it. I'm telling you. I gotta go get the deed to the house now, and in Mom's basement. But I mean, all is good. I'm telling you, all is good. But you guys, if you watch some of the stuff tonight, having Ronda Rousey, not Ronda Rousey, I'm sorry, having Becky Lynch standing there with her championships, and then having not having Kofi Kingston being by himself or being centered or anything like that, and him being in a group role. It is just like, and they talked about, D'Lo Brown put something on WrestleZone about, overcoming the black champion and, being a African American and being black and being a champion on Raw. I hate to tell you, and me and D'Lo are boys, and I know, when it comes to that, a lot of people have their mixed feelings about it, but, I just don't see it as a prominent fix. I don't see Kofi holding it for a year or 2 years or 3 years or being a dominant champion. I think he's going to be and I mean this with the respect, he's going to be the Stand the Man Stasiak transition 10-day champion.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you with that. I mean, he literally has not been featured prominently at all. It's been with the New Day. Kevin Owens stole the spotlight tonight, and Rob and I are about to break this down. And, of course, now that Roman's on board, I'm going to have a lot to say. So,
now, I mean, I could have seen Braun Strowman going to SmackDown.
Yeah, we thought that, but it didn't happen. Crazy.
It didn't happen. But and another thing, I thought that Luke Harper asking for his release, I thought that was crazy. I mean, he's giving up a steady paycheck. He's giving up a place in wrestling, and there is no place to go. But, there's a guy who's serviceable. But remember I told you, we always talked about guys who always have wingmen, guys who need people to be successful. Kevin Owens is not successful on his own. That's why they stick him with the New Day.
Well, and that's why I got Rob.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you talk about Luke Harper and Rowan and, even Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt needs wingmen. He needs people.
Well, he's going to have puppets and dolls now, it looks like. They're really getting really creepy with this stuff. And I hope this doesn't turn into the same old Bray Wyatt when he comes back. I hope they make something interesting with it. But I get you, man. I know exactly what you mean. Some people do need their Robins. Batman. It's not just Batman. It's Batman and Robin.
Yep, you're absolutely right, guys. You're absolutely right.
Well, sweet, Vito. I know Noelle's desperately waiting for us to get this video to her, because normally we do it before SmackDown, but I wanted to wait to see the Shakeup. So I'm gonna let you go, because I know you're busy at your living your luxurious lifestyle. And Rob looks like he's getting a little bit upset because you cut his airtime.
That's right.
Well, Rob, it's tough shit. What are you gonna do?
Well, thank you for answering, Vito. We might have to do this every now and again. Add the spice up to Virtue's brand.
That's because Big Vito brings ratings.
That's
and
right.
Rob just brings crumbs. I'll talk to you later.
All right, later. See you, Vito.
Bye-bye.
All right, Rob. So Vito transitioned us to, let's talk about it. Kofi Kingston's the WWE champion, literally getting put into goofy gimmicks, still out there with the New Day, getting overshadowed by Xavier Woods. Kevin Owens playing the part of Big E. Big E is still outshining Kofi through Kevin Owens tonight, and he wasn't even there. And this is your WWE champion. And guess who's now in the house? We know Daniel Bryan's still going to be there, right? Guess who's in the house? Roman Reigns. Kofi, main event Kofi, kiss that WWE title goodbye. What is your take on basically what Vito and I just talked about and you listened to for the last 10 minutes? Now it's your turn, Rob.
For one, I think Kevin Owens can be successful on his own, and I think he will be on SmackDown. So I disagree with him on that point. But pretty much everything else is spot on. And the whole thing with Kofi Kingston about his music, I think you and I talked about that in one of our very first episodes. If you're going to be the champion, if you're going to be the focus, you need special music. You need to feel like you are the main attraction, and the faction music is just part of it. You know, if Triple H has a one-on-one match right now, he's going to come out to one of his amazing songs. He doesn't even have to stick to one. But if he comes out with DX, he comes out as D-Generation X. But as the main event, he's going to come out to his own thing because he's a main event star. Kofi Kingston is not. He is not. I don't view him as a threat to anybody. I don't think he could beat Daniel Bryan in one-on-one. I sure as shit don't think he's going to beat Roman Reigns one-on-one. I don't think he could beat Lars Sullivan. I don't think he could beat Xavier Woods or Big E. So I think he's the weakest link in the New Day. The feel-good moment is over. I am sick of the chase. Who's next?
Yeah, and it's going to be Roman Reigns. Now, with that said, Roman came out tonight after the troll that Vince McMahon did with Elias. Roman did his thing, took out Elias, punched Vince McMahon, got a pop, but I know the smart fans see what's coming. Roman goes to SmackDown. SmackDown's going to go to Fox. Kofi's that transitional champion. At some point, like they might have Bryan come back and feud with Kofi before Roman gets involved. We don't know. Maybe Roman wins Money in the Bank. But at some point, they're going to put that title back on him. Now, here's the interesting thing. That when he's officially pushed, Roman, back to the main event, that's when those fans who are trying to be empathetic and sympathetic right now for the leukemia will turn on him because they're giving him the benefit of the doubt now, right, because he's not threatening any of their darlings. But what's your take when Roman finally gets back to the top? How is he going to be received? Will it get back to Roman 101? Will they have the balls to turn him heel?
Did they already start that process? He punched Vince McMahon in the face, which an anti-hero might do, but not the golden boy baby face, which is Roman Reigns would do. So I don't know. He acted very heelish tonight, and he got a pop.
That's a problem with wrestling fans today, though.
That's right. Yeah, I guarantee you, if they commit and turn him heel, it'll be crazy how fast the people that will claim that they've always been a Roman Reigns fan, they'll run out the woodwork. And I was only booing him because we were just playing along. And
playing along when he's supposed to be a baby face. See, that's a bunch of BS. Yeah,
but that's exactly what's going to happen. It's exactly
the countdown is on for Kofi's title reign. Once he loses it, he will never touch that type of gold again in his career. Mark my words.
2 months.
Anyway, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know what I forgot? Let's go back to Raw real quick. Rising up my charts, just going, speeding up the charts fast. Guess who?
Is it the sassy Southern Belle?
Nope. No, I like her, and I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. I know a lot of people, why is she getting pushed so much? And listen how quiet the crowd was for her. I'm sick of that. The crowd is full of marks, right, that like their indie darlings. When they don't like somebody, they're going to be quiet to try to, prove that they don't deserve that spot. So Lacey Evans, I think, will grow on people. I give him the benefit of the doubt. No,
sure. Are we going to say Sami Zayn?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Sami Zayn, week number 2 with this new crowd trolling promo gimmick that he has going on, which I absolutely love. I constantly hear, Virtue, are you writing Sammy's material? Is he reading and watching your videos and reading your columns? Look, I'm sorry. We all live vicariously through our favorite wrestlers. Sami Zayn's living vicariously through Virtue, but no, that's my ongoing joke. What is your thoughts on this? He is I didn't think I could make Sami Zayn was always in the middle of the road for me, because I didn't really have the sports entertainment aspect from him.
Yeah.
Now I do. And me, what's your take on him?
So if we judge someone's skill of a promo by how they can mold the crowd when the crowd is in their hands, who is better in the last few weeks than Sami Zayn? I don't think anybody has given a better promo. I think he's gold. We need to have a real push behind him, though. We need some kind of success, because all of this, if he goes 50-50 or starts losing matches, is going to mean nothing. But he's hot right now. He could do a lot of crazy, awesome things. His promos are incredible. And because I know what it does to the casual mark like me is I can chuckle to myself about how all these other marks are stupid, even though he's talking about me as well. But yeah, I think he's great. I hope he keeps doing what he's doing. I just want to see some victories come behind it.
So with that said, they got AJ on Raw now, and Vito really didn't think AJ was looking.
I didn't like his beard. He changed his beard. He looks weird.
I got to go back and watch that. Vito notices things that I don't sometimes. Like he noticed that Braun got blown up against Brock Lesnar at No Mercy. I went back and I was like, damn right, you're. And we all know Big Vito LaGrasso. He says some things that are out there for his bold predictions, but sometimes he nails them. Now, with that said, you think Sami Zayn with this gimmick, like you suggested, could be next in line to feud against Seth Rollins? I think this is that good. This is borderline CM Punk material. Not pipe bomb, but kind of pipe bomb. Not against the machine, but against the crowd. And who does the crowd love? Rollins. Who's the big Universal Champion? Brock Lesnar's gone. So what do you think? Does AJ get that nod? Does Braun get that nod? Does Drew McIntyre? Or does Zayn, with these promos, get noticed?
Zayn won't go after Rollins yet, but I would not be surprised if he got a couple of good attempts and captured Samoa Joe's United States Championship when that inevitably comes to Raw. No, not main event yet, but it shouldn't be. We can't just bitch about Kofi Kingston and just because somebody gives 3 good promos, we want to push him to the moon. It still needs to happen the way that we always say has to happen. Give him a mid-card title, build him up credibly, keep evolving the gimmick, and maybe 6 months from now at SummerSlam, or not 6 months, but maybe around SummerSlam time or closer to the end of the year, he's ready for the main event, and it works.
How about a program with AJ Styles then? I mean, because you got to remember, Sammy, in all intents and purposes, is acting as a heel.
Yes. Yeah, so no, that would be a good matchup.
Versus AJ Styles. I don't remember really seeing them mix it up too much.
No. And I'm glad they're keeping, and I was scared that they would have Owens with Zayn and they would just rehash that feud. So I am happy to see them on different brands. And AJ Styles, I can't really think of a better opponent to start him out. If he can get a win against AJ, it doesn't really hurt AJ.
And if Vito thinks AJ is looking like a mark on Raw more than I didn't really get that
he looked like a little kid at the end of the win.
But I'm just saying, if that's the case, what better opponent for him to have than Sami Zayn and to start calling that stuff out? Oh, you're just like pandering to these idiot fans. There could be ideas there, Rob.
There's golden heel work there, and there's a lot of money in merch if they know how to mine it.
Well, we had a run-in by Vito. We had a superstar shakeup. We got Roman Reigns eyeballing the WWE Championship and Kofi Kingston's magnificent reign. What else you got to talk about? Anything else? Because I am tapped.
I can't think of a single thing.
All right. Well, take it home then.
Man, that was an awesome show, Virtue. Vito, don't let me catch you on the streets because after you beat my ass, I will sue the shit out of you. So you could follow me at Xenomecha, Xenomecha. You could find me here with Virtue and another plethora of places. Virtue, where would those places be?
Those would be right here on the BigVitoBrand.com with Virtue's Brand of Wrestling. Also on WrestlingWithWrestling.com. We do that, every 3 weeks? I think next week we'll do a new one of those over on Andre's site. And I do stuff on NoDQ.com, which we're going to do like the Emelina tease, like for weeks and weeks and weeks. Eventually, Rob will make his way onto the NoDQ review.
You gotta rank us. You gotta rank all your people and then knock the bottom one out.
Vito's working. He works this time of night, and he's got to be sitting in front of a computer. So next time he does a run-in, I got to send him the Google Hangout because if he can come in and do that, then you can see him face to face. That's what we got to set up. We need a face-to-face encounter with Rob and Vito. So to be continued. Unlike Raw and SmackDown, we do hooks here, people. We give you something to look forward to. How will that live interaction go face-to-face with Rob and Vito? Will it be a mark-out session by Rob, or will Rob put Vito in his place? And
I may have to.
Dance, my puppets, dance.
I told you, I grew up and my mom was a huge fan of Vito. She watched wrestling with us, and she always thought Vito was cute. So I have a little vendetta. Yeah. So
I'm going to make sure wherever he's at this time of night, we're on Hangouts. We're going to get it done. But that's all I got. So for Rob, I'm Virtue. You can follow me on Twitter at @NoDQ_Virtue. This is Virtue's Brand of Wrestling on the BigVitoBrand.com. See you next time.